time for On the Farm in Alabama, bringing farmers and agribusiness the latest news from Alabama Extension and the Auburn University College of Agriculture. Now here's your host, Alabama Extension Regional Agent, Eddie McGriff.
I'd like to welcome everybody to On the Farm in Alabama, and today we're at Henderson Farms and we're going to be talking about soybeans on our Bean Counter series. Chad Henderson is one of the two growers in Alabama that has a documented 100 bushel plus soybean yield. So Chad, we planted your soybeans, or actually you planted your soybeans April the 5th. I was there, but you were the one doing the planting. So we planted them April 5th, and about 2 weeks later we got some temperatures down to 30 degrees, and there was some concern that it may kill the soybeans. Now when you look at research, the temperature around the soybean plant has to get 28 to 30 degrees for 2 hours or more. But even though the temperature was 30 degrees here for several nights, the temperature around the soybean plant, where the soil was still radiating some heat, was not near that temperature. So the soybeans came through fine, and now we're at V2 and the soybeans are up and growing. We did some stand counts. You planted 105,000 seed, and we were somewhere in the mid 80s to high 90 plant counts, right around 90 or 92,000 plants per acre. Are you happy with that?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we were shooting for. We wanted a good 90 to 100,000, is what we wanted, and we planted it in conventional soil, so it was worked up and it was a nice seed bed, and then we put it right on top of that hot red dirt, and so it kind of took care of itself then. So
yeah, a lot of people are concerned about planting that early, but really soybeans benefit more from early planting than corn does. I was reading where a soybean specialist in the upper Midwest, he asked them when the best time to plant soybeans was. He said 7 to 10 days ahead of your corn.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I would like to do, we would have loved to have, as you've seen in another episode, we would have loved to try to plant these the first week of March. I would like to try to plant a few, last week of February, first week of March, because a lot of times it's nothing uncommon for us to plant corn the 15th of March. So that would put us in that time frame.
So now, have you got most of your early planted soybeans planted? We're at May the 4th. I guess this is Star Wars Day, but we're at May 4th. How much of your early planted beans have you got planted?
We're somewhere around 1,000 acres is where we're at right now. We're waiting on some river bottoms, so we've probably got another 500 acres to plant in river bottoms and such. But it's a sandier type loam, and you just don't want to go down there too early, and there's a risk of flooding. So it's kind of right on time for it. We want to plant it. A lot of times we want to plant it the second week of May, if we could pick a time.
And the next step would be planting your beans behind wheat.
Double crop beans. Yeah. Double crop beans would be next on that list.
So when do you think you'll start harvesting your wheat?
Well, me and Stuart always just going to be the first week of June. It just always falls first week of June. But we're going to try some things this year, and we may try to actually desiccate some wheat. You've heard some talk about that. We may try a small field of that. We may try also, we're going to try to dry some wheat. So we want to start with our wheat at 20% and try that. A lot of times we don't get a chance to do that, and it's not a long ways between, when it gets into May, 1st of June, it's 95 degrees outside. That wheat will come from 17% to 13% in just a few days. So, but any days we could get then would be really good for the bean. So that would pick us up, maybe a third, half a bushel on the days at that time frame.
Yeah. One thing right now is we're filming inside because it's been pouring down rain the last few days. So, but what's your next step with your early planted beans? They're up now at V2, growing good, got a good stand.
Well, this bean field that we're playing with, I say playing with, we got about 25 acres down there that we planted really early. I guess that we planted about 90 acres at the same time frame, but we're going to play with this 20 acres. They're irrigated, and so the first thing we're fixing to start doing is we're fixing to spray them with some potash and some other minor nutrients, and probably a little bit of probably put some humics on it and some sugar on it. So we'll start that process, and and then we'll be spraying them probably every 10 days. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna load them up pretty good.
Yeah. So
We gotta try to beat Nick somehow.
okay, yeah, that's our other bean counter, Nick McMeekin, and Nick actually has the highest documented yield. He was the grower that had the first 100 bushel yield in Alabama, and of course there was a contest that made $10,000. Chad actually had some good beans that year, but we kept every time we went to harvest, it rained, so it rained three times, and you still made 94 bushels after
made 94 bushels, and Nick made all the money.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank Chad for being with us today on the farm in Alabama and participate in our bean counter series. And we'll be talking to Stuart Sanderson on soybean marketing in our next episode. Thank you.